How do we operate within a culture that might be breeding toxicity, poor behaviors, distress? How do we operate with high performance and achievement of our bottom line? And this doesn't matter if our workplace is filled with this kind of behavior, or even if it's just a little bit. We could have a little bit of abrasiveness, a little bit of poor behavior, a little bit of aggression, passive aggression, sabotage, withdrawal, discretionary effort. The workplace or life place doesn't need to be filled with toxicity in order for it to chip away at you. It could be one person, it could be one team, and that impact can be significant enough for disruption to occur. And then our culture in and of itself is toxic. And as soon as that begins to happen, what ends up happening is performance is impacted. The distinction we need to make for ourselves comes from a childhood icon, Grover. Near, far, micro to macro. In emotional intelligence, we look at the micro is looking at us, our self-leadership, the influence that we possess within the control of how we choose to behave, how we choose to respond, how we choose to react. And that self-leadership creates a follower within a culture that contributes to the culture, the cultural maturity, the bottom line. First, it's necessary to look at the micro, into our immediacy, into our behavior. No matter if we are an individual contributor, a leader, an executive, the owner, it doesn't matter where we sit. We must look at our own self-leadership. And then we can step back and take a look at the macro, the people around us, our manager, our peers, our direct reports. What is necessary in this process in going micro to macro is, if I get swept up in everything that's going on around me and I allow that to drive my emotional behavior, then I will get swept up in the catastrophe and the catastrophic language. They always do this. They never do that. No one does this. And that catastrophic language ends up producing within us behavior that's driven from our emotions. So now we're contributing to the toxicity within the workplace. Our emotional well-being begins with the near, then the far. Because when we are solid in our own intentional well-being, then when we step out to look at the macro, we can keep our IQ turned on. And this allows us to step into difficult conversations through the foundation of being emotionally neutral, emotionally solid. We can step into collaboration, emotionally solid. We can step into decision-making without our personal biases influencing how we're making those decisions.